onion. Probably first thing that comes to mind when you think about peeling an onion is crying. There's not a whole lot that we can do about preventing yourself from crying cutting an onion, just because it has to do with like the chemical that gets released when you cut into the skin. But there's a couple of things that will help kind of like alleviate the symptoms and really help you kind of like just push through. Today I'm going to talk about how to peel an onion. I think one of the first things that comes to mind is crying. Just because the moment you cut into an onion's skin, it starts releasing a chemical that causes us to cry. There's a couple of things that you can do just to kind of help alleviate some of those symptoms, just so it doesn't sting your eyes as much. Some onions are going to be a little bit more potent. Here I have a sweet yellow onion, and that one's probably going to be less stingier on the eyes, whereas if you're cutting into a red onion, that's really going to aggravate your eyes. So something that you can do is, when you go ahead and start peeling it, is it has this root on the end, and you want to make sure that you don't cut off the root, because A, it will help prevent you from crying and releasing the juices on that end, but it will also kind of help keep your onions layers all together. A couple of other things that you can do to prevent yourself from crying is that if you are in the middle of cutting, or even before you begin cutting, something that you can do is run your knife under some cold water, and that's really going to help dilute some of the juices that are coming off. Or if it gets really, really bad, I do recommend washing your hands in cold water and then kind of dabbing it on your eyes, or using a damp cloth with cold water, just to kind of help alleviate some of that burning sensation. So to start off first, we're going to want to cut off both ends of the onion. Remember that we want to keep as much of the root on as possible, and we're just getting rid of these little straggly guys. So what you want to do is, there's going to be a little ridge right in here where you're going to rest your knife. Make sure that your fingers are gripping the knife very firmly, because we don't want it rolling away. That's how you cut a finger. I've actually cut off a couple of fingers when I was in culinary school doing just that. So firm grip, we're pushing it into the cutting board so it doesn't move. The knife rests right onto the edge of the root, and we're just going to gently slice that off. So as you can see, most of the root is still attached, and we just got rid of little scraggly guys. Same thing we want to do is cut off this little end. We don't want to be cutting off too much, because then we'll waste the onion. So just a small amount, just to kind of get it level. So just about this much, not too much onion has been wasted. Then we're going to want to put it right flat on its side, and we're going to want to cut it straight down the middle. Okay. So we're going to flip those down, and so now you have two even parts. Next, we want to take the skin off. And what you want to do is take the edge of your knife and get it right underneath here, and that will help get underneath that very top layer and help you peel the onion. So those are the basics of how to peel an onion. One thing to note is that you can also take the first layer of the onion off along with the skin, so you don't just have to focus on peeling the skin. The first layer of the onion is usually the one that's not quite the best in quality, because it is usually the first one to go when the onion starts, getting a little bit soft and starts turning bad. So I do recommend take that first layer off as well. If you have any more questions, or you'd like to see something else from me, just leave it in the comment sections below, and I'll see you next time.